elections, ensuring that elections are transparent, ensuring that elections are free, fair, and democratic, and trying as best as possible to ensure that voters are aware of the issues and are engaged in the whole process. So it's not just on election day, but voter education, voter awareness, long before the elections. These are key, paramount issues that we seek to address. From economic governance point of view, we work largely on issues of anti-corruption. We work on issues relating to transparency within the mining sector. Increasingly now, we're now moving towards service delivery as well as issues relating to food security and climate change. And from the law, justice, and human rights, it's really not just about civil and political rights, but also economic, social rights, how we can best promote these rights.
Oh, thank you. Sounds like you're a very busy man doing quite a lot of good stuff. And that's quite a lot you've talked about. You've been the executive director of Open Society for about 3 years now, if I'm correct, and you've already been, and you say you're working across these 9 countries in West Africa. And with all of these things, have you seen the benefits? Can you tell us about some of the successes you've had already in countries that you're already present?
Well, I think before dealing with specific successes, I think one needs to see that there's been significant progress in West Africa in terms of open society values. Yes, there are huge challenges ahead, but I think it's worth acknowledging the fact that there have been significant progress. If you take the 9 countries that I mentioned earlier that we work in, all of them today have democratic institutions of governance. So from Sierra Leone to Liberia, all of them have had democratic elections. And these are, I think for me, this is a significant improvement from what used to happen in the 80s and 90s, where we struggled with the whole question of military coup d'etats. We struggled with undemocratic government institutions. So I think there's been a significant progress in issues of democratic governance within West Africa. In addition to that, economically, there's been progress in terms of the various economic growth. The World Bank statistics now says that the sub-region is experiencing growth, and countries like Ghana, the projections are very high. We're talking about 10+% growth in GDP. Sierra Leone is also being projected as one of the countries where there's significant growth. So economically as well, I mean, particularly with the recent discoveries of oil and other natural gas as an example, there's significant prospects in terms of open society values being. The media is much vibrant now in our West African countries. The civil society groups are more vocal. Citizens are much more engaged in the democratic process when compared to 10, 15 years ago. So there has been some progress, and yes, there are huge challenges. I mean, all of this progress remains extremely fragile and could very, very easily be undermined. You still have a number of West African states that are considered to be failed or failing states. If you look at the index of failed states, I think West Africa has a significant number of states that are considered as failed states. And if you take the economy in as much as, yes, there's increase, there's the wonderful figures from the Bretton Woods institutions about growth, yet still economically the average citizens in many of these countries, they've not really felt the impact of any significant growth, and the gap, inequality gaps in the various countries continue to increase and increase very, very widely. So these are huge challenges which the sub-region faces. But for us as a foundation, I think we're happy with the progress we have made, and we're happy with some of the success stories. In terms of one of our the major successes that we think we've had within the sub-region is, for us, really the introduction of what we call the Election Situation Room. And this Election Situation Room brings together all the active civil society organizations that work around issues of elections, and they monitor elections real time and are able to intervene. And in Nigeria, in Senegal in particular, we were able to bring together and organize an Election Situation Room that ensured that in Senegal in particular, the incumbent president, Abdoulaye Wade, and the Electoral Commission at the time, Seni, made sure that the process was very fair and democratic. And I think in a significant way we were able to help the process in Senegal, help strengthen the democratic process. Senegal is one of West Africa's strongest democracies, but it was under risk in the 2012 elections. And I think with the Situation Room, where we monitored, we deployed active monitors all across the countries, and they were sending real-time data to us at the election center, at the Situation Room Center in Dakar. We were able to make a significant impact, a significant difference in the outcome of the results in Senegal.
Thank you. That's really good. What are your biggest challenges?
I mean, as I said, all of these successes in West Africa remain extremely fragile, and I think we need to continue and even double our efforts to ensure that we strengthen or even advance the processes within the various countries. For me, I think the quality of the elections. Now we are having elections, so we're no longer talking about coup d'etat, but the quality of elections needs to improve. And we need to ensure that democracy is no longer in recession, and we need to ensure that there's the elections, election rigging or problems with various electronic machines. Those issues are addressed, and we strengthen and deepen democracy within the sub-region. So towards this end, we have helped set up the electoral assistance unit with the electoral assistance units of ECOWAS. We've helped set up the network of electoral commissioners of West Africa, ECONEC, which brings together all the electoral commissioners, the electoral commissioners of West Africa, and provide them with an opportunity to sit and discuss how they could make elections a lot better within West Africa. And fortunately for us, the Electoral Commissioner for Sierra Leone, Dr. Christiana Thorpe, was elected as the head of the ECONEC for the moment. So we're really hoping that ECONEC will help strengthen and deepen the democracy within the sub-region. There's also the challenge of very weak and ineffective political parties, and we've got to realize that if democracy is going to be strengthened, then it means political parties also need to be strengthened, and that the democracy within political parties, internal democracy within political parties, needs to also be strengthened. So I think it's important that we deal with issues, the challenges that political parties face within the sub-region. Also, issues relating to the media. I think it's important. It's a huge challenge for us how we address the challenges the media faces within the sub-region. I think we need to ensure that the media is much more independent, the media is free, and the media is able to participate in the democratic process. That's a huge issue. Another major challenge is the independence of institutions which are meant to act as a check on the executive. The executive in many of our West African countries is extremely powerful, and executive powers are all rested in the hands of the president, and institutions which are meant to check the presidency, unfortunately, are not as strong as they should be, and we need to work a lot more in terms of strengthening our electoral commissions, strengthening our constitutional courts, strengthening our human rights commissions, our anti-corruption commissions, so as to ensure that they play their role and are able to act as a check against the abuse of powers in our respective countries. So these are some of the major challenges that we see in terms of fighting for open society within the sub-region, and these are challenges that we need to address.
Thank you for that, Mrs. Yankul. Do you engage young people and women? Do you have special initiatives specifically designed to get women in the societies more involved, and young people as well?
Yes, in fact, in the OSIWA strategy, youth and women are seen as major cross-cutting issues across the board. So in all the work that we do, political governance, economic governance, and law, justice, and human rights, we have to ensure that we factor in the whole women and youth. We need to pay particular attention to them. For Open Society, there are special initiatives that work on. There's a youth initiative that works on youth issues, not just in West Africa but globally. And there's an International Women's Program as well. The International Women's Program is very, very active in West Africa. They fund a significant number of grantees in both Sierra Leone and in Liberia. So we do pay a lot of attention to the youth. Right now, as I speak, in Senegal, we're organizing a number of debates within the four main universities in Cheikh Anta Diop, the University of Gaston Berger, the universities in Ziguinchor and in Thiès, whereby youth are discussing not just theoretic issues, but they're discussing issues of political governance within Senegal, current political topics. So we think that it is important to engage youth in the decision-making process in the respective countries, and we have a number of programs which we've designed to engage them and try to bring them on board the decision-making process in the respective countries and try to get them to play their role. We do not see youth as the future leaders. We see them as leaders even today, and we need to engage them in the decision-making process as of now and not wait until the future.
Thank you. That's pretty awesome, pretty good work, there, especially for the youth and women. You mentioned funding. How can funding from OSIWA be accessed?
We do a call for proposal annually, and the call for proposal is usually posted on our website, and it's circulated to the various organizations and key groups within West Africa. So anybody who is keen on accessing funds for OSIWA should visit the OSIWA website, www.osiwa.org, and under the rubric for grants, you would see the call for proposal column, and you can go there and you will see that right now the call for proposal is posted there, and the call is up until the 16th of August 2013. So we welcome proposals from civil society organizations that work around the areas of our strategic objectives, and we'll be keen to review them, to discuss it with them, and to ultimately seek approval from our board so that we can work with them to do great work within West Africa.
Good. I'm sure that's very valuable information for our listeners, because some may be interested in doing proposals that OSIWA might be interested to fund. So thank you very much for that. You've had a remarkable career. You've been a legal practitioner for over 20 years with experience in human rights, good governance, and you are a role model to a lot of Sierra Leoneans, young people. Young people love you, women love you, and in many ways you're seen as a very inspirational person to a lot of Sierra Leoneans. So we encourage, and Voice from the Diaspora, we encourage young people, we encourage women and women's rights. So as a Sierra Leonean, and with the work you've done, what words of encouragement or advice out there would you give to Sierra Leoneans, young people, women, and Sierra Leoneans in general?
I'm not sure I'm the best person to offer advice. I'm not sure I agree with everything you said, that I've been able to inspire others.
Then?
Sorry?
Well, encouragement, if not advice.
No, I think for me, honestly, sincerely, that the key reason for success, the key to success is actually just hard work and dedication. And I think really, as long as you work extremely hard and you are committed to achieving your goal, I think for me that's what really pays. I think you get a lot of people who try to look for shortcuts. You get a lot of people who try to find alternative ways to acquire wealth, to live in a sort of different life. And for me, the one lesson that I've learned in life is that if you work extremely hard and that you're dedicated to what you do and you try to make a change, it will happen ultimately. So for me, really, the key thing is just dedicate yourself to the work, try to do it professionally, try to do it as best as possible, and success is bound to come at a certain stage. I think you look at the percentages of West Africans who are educated, the numbers are still very, very low, and those numbers need to increase. And so if